Picture this. You're sitting in a cramped middle seat, your knees jammed against the seat in front of you. The person next to you has claimed both armrests, and somewhere up ahead, separated by a thin curtain, people are reclining flat, drinking champagne, and getting actual sleep on a 10-hour flight. Now, what if I told you that curtain is a lot easier to get past than you think, and airlines have been quietly hoping you never figure that out? Today, I'm pulling back the curtain, literally, on the strategies, tricks, and insider knowledge that frequent flyers and travel hackers have been using for years to fly business class without paying business class prices. And before you think this is some sketchy loophole that's going to get your account banned, everything I'm sharing today is completely legitimate. These are real techniques, some of them actually encouraged by the airlines themselves, that the average traveler simply doesn't know exist. So stick with me through this entire video, because the best stuff is not at the beginning. I'm going to save the single most powerful technique for later, and when you hear it, you're going to immediately want to test it on your next booking. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about why business class seats go empty. This is the foundation of everything. Airlines price business class at sometimes 5, 6, even 10 times the cost of economy on the same exact flight. A seat from New York to London in economy might run you $500. That same flight in business class? Easily $5,000 or more. So you'd think those seats are always filled with executives on company credit cards, right? Wrong. On many flights, a significant number of business class seats fly completely empty. Why? Because the airline's pricing model isn't really about filling every seat. It's about anchoring the price high enough that corporations will pay it without questioning it, while also protecting the exclusivity of the cabin. The result is that airlines would often rather fly with empty business class seats than discount them publicly, because the moment they're seen discounting those seats, the corporate accounts they depend on start renegotiating their contracts. But here's where things get interesting for you. Airlines have internal mechanisms for moving those seats, and those mechanisms create the opportunities you're about to learn. The first technique is something called the upgrade bid system. Most major airlines now run a bidding program where economy and premium economy passengers can submit a bid for an upgrade into business class before their flight. You don't pay full price. You offer what you're willing to pay, and the airline considers it in the days leading up to departure. If they have unsold seats and your bid is reasonable, you win the upgrade. The key word there is reasonable. A lot of people either bid too low thinking they're gaming the system, or they don't bid at all because they don't know the feature exists. The sweet spot is usually bidding somewhere between 25 and 40% above the minimum bid the airline sets. That range tends to be competitive without overpaying. Airlines like Lufthansa, Emirates, Singapore Airlines, British Airways, and many others all run versions of this program. Check your booking confirmation email after you buy a ticket, because the upgrade bid invitation often gets sent there, and most people delete it without ever reading it. The second technique is leveraging airline status strategically, but not in the way you're thinking. Everyone knows that if you have elite status with an airline, you get upgrade priority. But here's the part people miss. You don't need elite status with the airline you're flying. You need elite status with one of their alliance partners. Here's a real example of how this works. The three major global airline alliances are Star Alliance, SkyTeam, and oneworld. If you have top-tier status with any airline in one of those alliances, that status is recognized by every other airline in the same alliance. So if you've been faithfully flying one airline and have built up status there, that status can translate into complimentary upgrade consideration on a partner airline you've never even flown before. Most travelers have no idea this cross-recognition exists, and they're leaving potential upgrades on the table every single time they book. Now let me give you the third technique, and this one is purely about timing. When you buy your economy ticket matters enormously, and not just for price. Airlines typically release upgrade opportunities in waves. The first wave happens when you book. The second wave happens around the 72-hour mark before departure. The third and most powerful wave happens within 24 hours of the flight, sometimes even at the gate itself. If you're targeting a business class upgrade at the gate, here's the approach. Check in online exactly when the window opens, usually 24 hours before departure. This locks in your boarding position. Then, when you arrive at the airport, Go to the check-in counter or the gate and politely ask whether any upgrades are available. The key here is the word politely. Gate agents deal with difficult, demanding passengers constantly. If you approach them with genuine warmth, acknowledge that you know it's a long shot, and ask nicely, you'd be surprised how often a simple conversation turns into a seat in business class, especially on partially filled flights. There's a whole psychology to this interaction that most people completely misunderstand. Gate agents have real discretionary power in many cases to upgrade passengers. They're human beings who respond to being treated well. Don't demand. Don't explain that you deserve it. Just be genuine and pleasant. That's it. Some travelers dress the part too, and while it shouldn't matter, presentation does subtly influence these interactions. Now let's talk about points and miles, because this is where the rabbit hole goes incredibly deep. Most people collect miles through their airline's credit card, spend them on free economy tickets, and think that's the whole game. But that approach is roughly equivalent to using a high-performance sports car to only drive in first gear. The real value of airline miles and points is in redeeming them for business class seats, because the redemption rate creates a wildly disproportionate value gap. Here's what I mean. A business class ticket from the United States to Europe might cost $5,000 in cash. That same seat might cost 60,000 to 80,000 miles to redeem. Meanwhile, an economy ticket on the same route costs maybe $500 in cash and 35,000 miles in points. The math is obvious. The points stretch dramatically further when you use them for premium cabins. You're getting $10 per mile in value in one scenario and less than $2 per mile in the other. The additional layer here is transfer partners. Many of the best credit card rewards programs, including Chase Ultimate Rewards, American Express Membership Rewards, and Capital One Miles, allow you to transfer your points to multiple airline loyalty programs. This means you can accumulate points through everyday spending and then strategically move them to whichever airline loyalty program offers the best redemption rate for your specific flight. This flexibility is enormous, and most cardholders never use it. The specific sweet spots and award redemptions change, so I'll avoid naming routes that might be outdated by the time you watch this. But the concept of hunting for what the travel hacking community calls sweet spot awards is absolutely real and worth researching for your specific destinations. Some alliances have flat-rate award charts where a business class seat to anywhere in a certain region costs the same number of miles, regardless of how expensive that ticket is in cash. Those are the redemptions where you can extract extraordinary value. Here's a technique that almost nobody talks about, and it's number 5 on my list. Married segment logic. This is a genuinely obscure quirk in how airline pricing engines work that can make a direct business class flight suddenly appear affordable. Airlines use pricing logic that bundles connecting flight segments together. Sometimes a business class seat on a direct non-stop flight is priced at $5,000. But if you search for the exact same business class experience as part of a longer itinerary that happens to include a connection, the price can drop dramatically because the pricing engine is treating it as a different product category. Travel agents who specialize in premium cabin bookings know this technique well. The practical implication for you is that when you're searching for business class fares, don't just search the direct route. Also search variations that route through hub cities and compare the results. The differences can be genuinely staggering. Let me also address something I know some of you are thinking. Aren't these techniques going to stop working once airlines catch on? It's a fair question. Here's the honest answer. Some tactics do get patched over time. Airlines update their pricing algorithms, tighten their award charts, and close certain gaps. But the fundamental realities driving these opportunities don't disappear. Airlines will always have empty business class seats on some flights. They will always have mechanisms to fill them. And they will always have gate agents with some level of discretionary authority. The specific playbook evolves, but the game doesn't end. Now let me get to what I promised you at the start. The most powerful technique in this entire video. And it's not the one most people expect. It's called positioning yourself in the upgrade pool, and it combines several of the elements we've already talked about into a deliberate strategy rather than leaving anything to chance. Here's how it works step by step. Step 1. Book directly with the airline. Not through a third-party booking site. Not through a price comparison engine. Directly through the airline's own website or app. Bookings made through third parties often don't qualify for upgrade consideration at all. And even when they do, the airline prioritizes its own direct customers. Direct bookings also tend to earn more miles and build your relationship profile with that airline's loyalty program. Step 2. Join the airline's loyalty program before you book, even if you've never flown them before. Having a loyalty number attached to your booking, even with 0 miles in the account, puts you in a different category than passengers who have no loyalty relationship with the airline at all. It signals that you're a potential long-term customer worth cultivating. Step 3. Select a seat in the front section of economy class if business class upgrades aren't available at booking. This is important. Airlines prioritize upgrading passengers who are seated closer to the business class cabin, both for logistical reasons and because those seats are often the easiest to walk forward from operationally. Step 4. Check in the moment the window opens. Upgrade priority lists often factor in check-in timing. Being first in line matters, and it costs you nothing. Step 5. Use the upgrade bid system we discussed earlier and bid in that 25 to 40% above minimum range. This covers your bases in case the bid route is available. Step 6. Show up at the gate early, dressed presentably, and if the flight isn't fully booked in business class, have a brief, friendly conversation with the gate agent. Don't pitch yourself. Just engage like a human being and mention that you're hoping there might be an upgrade available if any seats are going spare. When you execute all 6 steps together, you are in the absolute best position possible to receive a complimentary or discounted upgrade without paying anywhere near full price. The travelers who get upgraded consistently aren't luckier than you. They're more strategic than you. And now you have the strategy. Let me add one more layer to this because I think it's genuinely important. The emotional and experiential reality of flying business class is something worth understanding before you chase it too hard. Business class is genuinely, meaningfully better on long-haul flights. A flatbed seat on a 12-hour overnight flight versus a reclined economy seat is not a small difference. You arrive rested, you're not stiff and exhausted, and if you're traveling for work or an important event, that difference is real and material. On shorter flights, the gap narrows considerably, and on domestic flights under 2 hours, business class is often barely worth the upgrade at all. So channel your energy toward the long-haul international routes, where the experience difference is genuinely transformational. The other thing I want to be clear about is what this video is not. It's not a guide to deceiving airlines or exploiting loopholes that could get your account flagged. Every single technique I've described today is one that airlines are fully aware of and have built into their systems intentionally. The upgrade bid system exists because airlines designed it. Award redemptions exist because airlines created their loyalty programs deliberately. Gate upgrades happen because airlines empower their staff to use discretion. You're not tricking anyone. You're learning the game that's already been set up and playing it intelligently. A lot of people never chase these opportunities because they assume business class is categorically off limits for anyone who isn't already wealthy or traveling on a corporate account. That assumption costs them real money and real comfort every year. You've now spent the last several minutes learning exactly why that assumption is wrong and exactly what to do about it. So let's recap the core techniques before you go. The upgrade bid system, which most travelers ignore entirely despite it being right there in their booking confirmation email. Cross-alliance status recognition, which can get you upgrade priority even on airlines you've never flown before. Strategic check-in timing and gate conversations, which position you perfectly for complimentary upgrades on partially filled flights. Award mile redemptions in premium cabins, which deliver dramatically better value per mile than economy redemptions. Married segment pricing logic, which can make direct business class flights suddenly accessible. And the full positioning strategy, which combines all of these elements into a deliberate, repeatable system. None of this requires you to be rich. None of this requires years of frequent flyer status. Some of it just requires a credit card you're already spending on and a few minutes of strategic thinking before your next booking. The curtain between economy and business class is thinner than airlines want you to believe. You now know where the opening is. If you found this useful, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button because I cover this kind of insider travel knowledge regularly. And the next video in this series goes even deeper into award booking strategies that can fund almost unlimited premium travel for a fraction of the cash price. You're not going to want to miss that one. And drop a comment below telling me your longest ever flight and whether you've ever been upgraded. I genuinely read every comment and I want to know your experience. The conversation in the comments on this channel is honestly some of the best travel intelligence you'll find anywhere online. See you in the next one.